Coming up next is Brian Ralph's team at 6, the Charlotte Hornets. We have another guest in the waiting room. But before we get to that guest,
he was here.
Was that the drum roll that you're doing?
No, he was actually here, and then he got kicked back out. But we can reintroduce.
Yeah, here he is. Here he is. Ray McCallum is welcome to the show. What's up, Ray?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We got you, yeah.
Damn.
Can you hear us?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
Oh no.
Ray, I know. I've seen you on the podcast. I've seen you on the Swiss Cultures. I know you got the setup. I know he can make it. My PG's about to make this happen. Don't doubt him. Ever.
Wait. Carter, what's the story? Did you and Ray play together in high school?
Yo.
Yep, I got to play with Ray for 2 years.
Well, play is quite the word.
Oh, come on.
Don't watch it.
Don't do that.
We can ask Ray. If his audio works, we'll get an answer.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
You hear us?
Yeah.
There we go. My mic, I don't know. My mic's not working. But yeah, I heard y'all yesterday. Did Carter and I play in high school? Of course we did. That was my guy, man.
Thank you.
I mean, one of you played. One of you.
Carter got us right, man. See, we had the seniors, and then Carter was the junior. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of, who's better here. But they got us right. That was my guy, man, for sure.
Listen, man, I played behind the McDonald's All-American, Greg. Give me a break, man. There ain't much I can do.
Was he as much of a dickhead as he is now in high school, or did he develop that with time?
He must have developed that with time, because he was all good with me back in the day, for sure.
All right. Respect. That's all I got. I won't grill you anymore, Carl. I just wanted to
Thank you. Ray, I appreciate you hopping on here. Obviously, you prestigious high school career. You go through the draft process, coming out of Detroit, get drafted to the Kings. Kind of put us in your shoes to what that process is like, especially, you were coming from a smaller school. What is like that draft process like in draft day, just kind of sitting around and waiting for your name to be called?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, draft day was watching this tonight is bringing back a lot of memories. It was crazy. I was 36 picks, so I had to wait like 3 hours and 10 minutes to hear my name get called. So that was a long day for sure. But the process was everything you dreamed of, right? Like you said, I went to a small school, University of Detroit. Not a lot of people heard of it, especially back then at that time. Got the opportunity to play for my dad. Did some special things there. And then during the whole draft process, I think I worked out for like 13 teams. Stayed in college for 3 years. Had some success. And then, that whole draft process, 13 workouts. The draft comes around. You kind of have an idea where you might get drafted to. Sometimes you don't really know. I ended up going to the Sacramento Kings, 36 pick. Never worked out for the Kings or anything. That wasn't something I saw really coming. I think the Pistons had like the 37 or 8, and I knew if I didn't get drafted at 36, then they told me that they were going to draft me for sure. And then, everything just changed after that, for sure.
You mentioned playing for your dad at Detroit, and of course, another father-son duo has been the talk of a lot of lead up to this draft with LeBron and Bronny.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily related to this draft, but what are your top 3 father-son sports duos?
That's kind of crazy. The Bronny, and if he can get to the Lakers or play for his pops, I think that'd be cool to see. The best one, like coaching wise, I liked like Doug McDermott when he was in college.
Mm-hmm.
For his dad, I thought that was special because he was pretty much the best player. Who's another one? Y'all might have to help me out. Yeah, basketball wise, I would say Doug McDermott.
They're probably the best, most successful one, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in college, I would say him. UAD did it twice with
Antoine Davis, the coach.
Right.
My boy Trey Ziegler, he went to Central Michigan, played for his dad for a year. But I think the most successful for sure, Doug McDermott, I think.
I'll bring it back to basketball.
Okay, mine was basketball related. I just had to give a shout. It was a relevant storyline with LeBron and Bronny.
One of the I always find it interesting when we all as draft analysts do this and try and project, right, like how guys are going to be at the next level, because you don't know necessarily what's going to translate and what doesn't. In your experience, what did you find translated the best coming from college to the pro ranks?
Yeah, I would say like for me, physically, I think I was ready. I think for me, what took a while is like developing the jump shot. Like I could always score, I could, make the right plays, but being a point guard, like, maybe being able to be consistent from the 3-point line, like that's something major you have to have. Like physically, I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of guys coming in, like they need to develop, they got to get bigger, stronger, maybe quicker, more athletic. I felt like I had those tangibles coming in, but for me, it was just like kind of polishing up my game a little bit. Like, I could get to the basket anytime I wanted in college. I could get my shot off at any time I wanted, but then like just becoming more efficient and then just trying to get a better jump shot. I think those were some things that if I could go back, I would have tried to smooth out before I got there. But I mean, it kind of worked out a little bit. So, but I would say those are the biggest things, your jump shot for sure.
We get to put some revenge on Brian Ralph right now because he got to announce to us that we took Ron Holland. The Charlotte Hornets have selected Tijani Salon, 6th overall in the
draft. We're not even using the glass. We're going straight for the bottle here, man.
Ralph, I'll drink with you, my friend. Let's just drown our sorrows. Riley, can you explain to us about the guy that averaged 9 and 4 for Cholet Basket last year?
If you like search him on YouTube, at least you get like, is he the French Giannis comp? That's probably the best thing about him. I mean, he's pretty bouncy. Like the highlights look good. The shot doesn't look broken in my eyes. I know you see that lovely 32.9%, but I don't get it, man. I don't like.
This is why the Hornets are the Hornets and have forever been the Hornets. Like
just take Matas. Take Rob with the shifts. Take any don't try to get cute here and take another Frenchman who no one knows about.
Well, I made a comment on a Sleepers podcast about how he watched the NBA playoffs, and it's like, oh wow, Jalen Brunson's crushing it. He was really good in college, went late. Andrew Nembhard, really good in college. Look at the role that he's been able to carve out. All these like really good college players who got picked late because they didn't have the upside, right, were the ones who are making all the impact in the playoffs. And so here you go, picking a guy who didn't do anything overseas.
Hey,
hold on. Good college players.
Now wait a damn second here. This is where I step in. All right, Ray. Obviously, you're doing the Swish Cultures Pod. You run, you do a lot with that page. Obviously, you're a multi-year overseas pro. What is it about maybe the overseas guys that these NBA teams are looking at and they're like, okay, maybe I want this guy over a proven guy in college? Is there something you can put your finger on for it?
Sure. Like I've been in France. I was played in France 2 years ago for like 2 seasons. So the last couple of years I've been over there. So I've seen all these guys come up. So it's actually kind of crazy to seeing them go number 1 and all these top picks, right? But way I see the way the game is going now is like the NBA is looking for, 1, to expand the game globally. I think 2, they want to get like more international prospects that are on the team playing, right? And then you see like France, obviously this is 3 guys, in the top 8, 10 in the draft, and then there's going to be way more international kids this season or this draft tonight that are going to get drafted and actually stay here. When I was coming in the draft back in 2013, it's like draft and stash, but teams are looking for the next best Luka, the next best Wimbayana, the next best Giannis, and they're willing to take a chance on some of these kids. And hopefully that, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, I think they can develop into a top-notch player. That's my analysis on it, but it's crazy, bro, because when I play against these kids, they used to be nervous about playing against Americans. Now their confidence is out the roof, and they're not scared to play against us anymore.
I got nothing against international prospects in an international game, by the way. I don't mean that at all. Just be productive before you come over.
Hey, he won the trophy
before you get drafted.
Sure.
Well, see, like a lot of these guys, I don't know about him or his role, but a lot of these kids, they're like, they don't get many minutes. They don't really play because like you're playing with 30-year-olds, grown men, whatever the case might be. And some of these young guys really don't play. That's why their numbers don't really add up. But I feel you on that for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy times we're in. And yeah, the Europeans are taking over the league. It's crazy.
Speaking of crazy times, the draft is moving quickly because Charlotte is trading this pick. Charlotte is trading this pick to Memphis at 9. So Charlotte is moving back. Memphis is moving up. This is per a source that may not actually be real, Brian Ralph. I may just be putting you through hell right now. So we'll keep an eye on this and see if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I may have just given you false hope. I have one more question for Ray here. You talked about like, man, it's crazy times we're in with like, there's a lot of overseas talent. Clearly, we just looked at the top 6 picks in this draft, and a bunch of guys college basketball fans don't know have already risen up the draft boards. It's also a crazy time for college basketball players, much different than when you played, because guys are signing $2 million contracts.
Yeah.
How different would your college career have been? Or, I mean, you stayed home to play, right? You had offers from the biggest schools in the country. How different would it have been if you were playing in this era?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone to Detroit. Who knows? And my dad was a head coach. That's why I went. I think if we could have gone back in this era or went to the future in this era, we probably would have had a package deal, him and myself going somewhere else. I mean, the type of money they're getting thrown at now. I mean, obviously you say it's not about the money, but you can get 7 figures as 18, 19-year-old kid and still have a chance to make the NBA one day. I think we probably would have gone in a different direction, or we would have had to do something. Carter and I went to Country Day. Some people around that city would have had to put some money together to get me to stay. But I mean, I'm happy to see these kids getting paid, but it definitely is crazy to see some of the money that they're getting. But I mean, they deserve it. So I definitely probably would not have been in Detroit, and we might not be on this podcast tonight.
Now, you would have been somewhere else. Pops would have had the job. Pops would have had a whip. Moms would have had a house, and you would have had a nice paycheck and probably back then a Subway or a Roll Gold Pretzel NIL deal. You would have been that.
I'm just wondering, how far could Carter have rode the coattails in this hypothetical
This
world?
is not about me, fellas.
What's he getting
already on here if I knew this was going to be an interrogation hour of me?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. No, Carter was my guy, man. We got a state championship together too, matter of fact.
Champs.
Hey, cheers to the champs. And speaking of champs, we're about to welcome a champ in. Ray, we're going to let you go. Thank you for being here. I know how much you mean to Cart, man. Enjoy the night.
Appreciate you, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Ray.
All right, that was one of my best segues of all time, boys, because I said we have another champ here.